Hello guys, welcome to Power Junkies. Today we're doing introduction to Power Platform, how to use Power Automate. If you're here for the first time, go ahead, subscribe, like, share, and comment. So my name is Nomfundo Manyoni from Durban University of Technology. So before we start, I'm going to give you a brief about the Power Platform. So this is Power BI here. This app is used to collect data. For example, let's say DUT want to know how many students failed last year. They can use this app to check that. And we go ahead to Power Apps. So Power Apps, this app allows you to create mobile apps that run on Android, iOS, and also Windows. Let's go ahead to Power Automate. This is a service that helps you create automated workflows. For example, let's say a company always wants to send emails to their employees every morning. This is the perfect tool to use. Let's go ahead and look at Power Virtual Agents. This app lets you create powerful chatbots that can answer questions posed by your employees, customers, or visitors to your website. So today we're going to specifically be looking at Power Automate. Power Automate here. Um, we're going to be automating tasks. We're going to use Power Automate to help us be more productive, kind of a helping hand. Okay, integration, communication, and workflow. We have forms here, SharePoint, Power BI. Okay, you could use forms. You can create flow for Microsoft Forms that performs one or more tasks automatically after it's triggered by an event. For example, let's say you sent an invitation and the person RSVP, then the form will be automatically sent to them to register or book a seat at that event. Okay, and SharePoint, sorry. SharePoint. We use SharePoint to create a flow that will only be available for site members, and only site members can edit it. Okay, let me look at my last slide. So this is how Power Automate flow looks like. You can see here, this is my flow, and this is where you go ahead and create your new flow, and this is where you could have access to your previous flow. Now, if you have no idea about Power Automate, don't worry, I'll take you step by step. Today, we're going to do a type of automation so you have a better understanding of the power of this tool. We're going to learn how to update Excel using Microsoft Automate. Okay, so now let's create our first flow. Okay, you could go ahead to Office. Okay, here's Office, and just go here and look for Power Automate. If it's not available here, select all apps and it will be definitely available down there. Okay, so if you get lost, you can pause the video and watch it again. This is how our Power Automate app looks like, and this is where you can see your previous flows. You can check all your previous flows, and we're just going to go ahead and create our first flow. So we can choose Instant Cloud Flow, and we can call this, we can name this update Excel table. Okay, we're going to use manually trigger flow. You could go ahead and create that. So we're going to be editing this Excel table. This is the Excel table that we're going to edit using Microsoft Automate. So this is our first step. We should see ourselves here. Okay, when we get here, we're going to add an input, we're going to add a text, and we're going to add an ID. Add another text. Okay, add name. Add another input. We're going to select numbers. Since we're doing sales, we know sales are is a number form. Okay. Once we're done with that, we can add a new step and look for Excel. Excel online. What we want to do is add a row into a table. Okay. Okay, once we have our Excel here, we're going to add a row into a table. So going to bring us to the drop down here. We're going to choose the location. At this case, I used OneDrive. And I'm going to check it on OneDrive here again, the documentary library. And I'm going to open my file depending on where you saved it. Mine is here. Okay. The table. Okay, we look for a table here. I've saved my table as table 1. Okay. So going to add a dynamic contact. If it doesn't drop down like this on your end, then you go ahead and click add dynamic contact here, and we're going to look for ID. Here we're going to look for a name, and here we're going to look for a save. That's quite easy. Go ahead and save. Okay, let's save. Wait for it to save, and let's go ahead and test it. First manually, save and test. Okay, there you go. We logged in with Excel. Let's continue. And our second ID, let's input it to be, let's say it's Sicelo. Okay, let's say Sicelo made a sale of 5,000 Rand. Let's run the flow. Okay, we're going to edit this 4 to 5 times. Let's see. Now let's test again. Manually test. Okay, got the third one. The name is so you can say final fee and let's say 6,500 Rand. Okay, let's go ahead and run the flow. Done. Let's add the last one. Flow is done. Another one. Test. And let's see. This is our fourth one. Let's see. And let's go ahead and let's say 8,000 Rand sale. Go ahead and run the flow for the last time, and that's done. Okay, once we've done with that, let's go ahead and check with our Excel. Okay, here it is. Our Excel has been updated. Okay, that's great. Our next step is to do Microsoft Flow and send you an email if the condition is met. To do that, we're going to have to create a new flow. We're going to go with Instant Flow again. And what are we going to call it this time? Going to call it Excel data condition. There you go. Going to go with manually trigger again. Go ahead and click create. It should bring you here. We're going to leave this one here like this. We're going to go ahead and add a new step. Search for Excel. Since we are using an Excel sheet, we're going to look for list row presence in a table. Okay, let's go for that. And it should bring you here. Going to find our location, and my location again is OneDrive. Go ahead, document library, OneDrive, and depends where you've saved your file. in my case, I've saved my file here, and let's go ahead and look for that table. My table, I've saved it as table 1. Once you've done with that, you could also go ahead and show other advanced options. We're not going to edit anything with there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add a new step. What we're going to do right now, we're going to go ahead with control and look for apply to each. There we go. And we just need a value there. Okay, now we need to apply the condition to this value. So this here we're going to add an action and we're going to go for a condition. So here, let's say we want to know which one of the sales are over 8,000 because we want to send a gift to one of our best sale representative in our team. Okay, so we could choose here, we could choose, let's say the sale. The sale should be equal or greater than to a value of your choice. At this time, we said 8,000 rand. We're going to say it should be greater than or equal to 8,000. The value will go in as a text and 8,000 is an integer. So we will need the condition to apply to each sale. So we'll delete the sale and go to expression. Okay, go ahead there, go here, and we want it to be float, round brackets, items, round brackets, apply to each. Going to put a question mark and square brackets and put the same. So sale is the column name. This will convert the string to a float like a decimal number. You can go ahead and press OK. Okay, let's do this. We're going to add it here. If yes, add an action. You can choose to send an email, Outlook. In this case, I'm going to go with notifications. Okay, here we go. Going to choose send me an email notification, and it will bring us here. And the subject, we could write remember to send a gift to the name. Let's look for a name here. I know dynamic contact. Name. Here's the name. Because the sale with ID. There you go. We're going to have it like that. And the body could just be regards Mfundo. Okay, now we're done with that. Okay, so once we get to this stage, you could close this, save it, and go ahead and test the flow. Manually test, and let's run the flow. Done. The flow is running. Okay, our flow. Let's check our emails. There you go. is our email. Remember to send a gift to Snowtando because the sale of ID4, that's our email. Okay. The second email, remember to send a gift to Nolutando because of the sale with ID1. So guys, we've come to the end of Microsoft Power Automate for today. Just a brief summary of what we're doing today. So if a company wants to know who made the highest sales for the month or for the week, you could just simply use Microsoft Power Automate the very same way that I was showing you. Instead of going to the books and checking the record, Automate can do that for you. So stay tuned. We're still going to upload more videos from me and the rest of the Power Junkies. Take care.